All right, what is up, sports fans? We are back for another episode of The Fan in the End. I'm your host, as always, Stephen Rychel. To my right of me today is Mr. Marvin Powell the third. Marvin, how we feeling this morning, my friend?
Fortunate and blessed. Thankful to be here. Love doing this with you guys, and excited about today's show.
As always excited to catch up with you, Marvin, and Ben today. And Ben's underneath me today. What is up, Mr. Troupe? Ow! Technical difficulties already. We already know how this day's gonna go.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, but we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about
you.
today.
I got just give me the ball, coach. I got you.
Yeah, right. So I'm gonna get started on something. We were trying to squeeze this in at the end of last week's show. We didn't really get a chance to address it. I think you'd mentioned it right as we were going off air. Was the unfortunate passing of Doug Martin. Obviously, there's been a little bit more light shed onto it about what was going on with the weeks leading up to Doug's passing. He was obviously having some issues. It was also noted that he tried to jump off his balcony the week prior. So that is he's definitely going to be one of these guys that I think that they said at the end of this graphic here that they are going to test and see if he was suffering from CTE. Definitely thoughts and prayers are with the Martin family, but even more so was what had happened, Saturday night, Sunday morning, which affects you a little bit is the passing of Nick Mangold, which, he had stated, I believe it was about 2 weeks ago, that he was dealing with kidney disease, was asking from help from the community, things of that nature. And unfortunately, Sunday morning, he had succumbed to the illness. And, the Jets went out there and they did their thing. They performed, in his memory, got a big win, got them off the snide. But I mean, we talk about this all the time as we were getting on here. Life is precious. Enjoy the time that you have with your loved ones, your friends. Doug, Doug Martin's family definitely is feeling it. Obviously that's not something you want to see him. He was dealing with substance abuse issues. Obviously, being banged up around there, being one of those power backs in the NFL during his time, it probably wasn't the greatest thing for him in between the years. And then obviously coming back again to Nick, kidney disease is no joke. And obviously it's a rough one. I guess we'll start off with you, Marvin. We briefly touched on this last night. It was one of the reasons I kind of felt the Jets win was a little surprising, being that who they were playing. I thought the Bengals were looking pretty good. Obviously, the team themselves rallied around that the unfortunate passing of Nick. But what are your overall thoughts on this one, brother?
Listen, this was devastating for Jet Nation. And really, the NFL community. Nick Mangold was one of the good guys in the NFL. All you read about were positive stories, and all you heard from him really was just leadership and pro Jet and pro team and pro family. We're talking about one of the most decorated players in the history of the Jet organization with 7 Pro Bowls. That's significant. I think he leads the Jet organization in most Pro Bowls. And if he's not, he's number 2. The other person would be Revis. But Mangold on the field during his day was considered to be an elite player. He's somebody who absolutely you're going to hear about. Potentially for the Hall of Fame. It's, with 7 Pro Bowls, it's warranted. And just a very sad situation. Gone too young. This guy was 41 years old. Really, you can argue was still in the first half of his life. So this was tough, man. And it's great that the Jets got a win on the day that he had passed. You absolutely want to believe that there was some momentum there, some emotional momentum, and a sense of duty from the players. But they got it done. Call it coincidence, call it what you want. But they got it done. And again, Nick Mangold is, I mean, he will be he'll be missed without question. Doug Martin, heartbreaking situation. I was reading what you had just posted up, and obviously I heard the story, and I'm aware of what happened from a distance. But CTE, it's a real thing. I'm happy that they are going to look at his brain. I know it's weird. I know when my dad died, within like a day of him dying, I got a phone call from these people at Harvard. I don't know how they got my number. I don't know, so it was mind blowing. They were like, "Hey, can we get your dad's brain?" And I was just like, "So this is a real thing that they're doing." And I hope they find, well, I'm sure they're going to find CTE. And with that said, I hope they continue with that information to do the right things in the NFL and just in regards to treatment and how we're dealing with that. But it's sad, you read about him having some recreational drugs in the system. Listen, 7 years in the NFL. This guy's body was banged up. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure he dealt with some kind of physical pain. I'm sure that, like many people, he found ways to self-medicate. And unfortunately, that can turn into a problem when you're trying to just help yourself and get better. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. All I think about with Doug really is just he was a great player, great story at Boise State, and condolences to his family and to the NFL community.
Ben, your thoughts on Doug and Nick Mangold's passing?
Yeah, Doug, when Doug's happened, never knew Doug, never played with him, but you feel like you did, and when these players pass on, that's, I can't speak for Marvin, but it hits differently because we know we all represent the same thing. Listen, one game or 20 years, football at the highest level is different because this is what you do. So when people say, well, why would they play through injuries? Man, this is how you make your money. This is your livelihood. It's different. This is what you do. And Doug Martin, I mean, they called him the muscle hamster for a reason. He played a lot bigger than what he was. The way he played football, he was a bruising back to be as small as he was. And the thing is, what they say, we only privy to Sunday. You don't see what happens Monday through Saturday. You don't see all the treatment. You don't see all the massages, the hot tub, the cold tub. You don't see, just trying your best to make it to the game to get beat up. No one gets hit more than running backs. They get gang tackled every other play. Everybody else, you may get a big hit here, a big hit there. But I agree with Marvin, man. The people at Harvard and I think at UNC Chapel Hill, they study pro athletes up there. The research is being there, but to the extent, concussions is something that has to be reported, written down, and say, hey, on this day, this time, boom. You know how many times they asking you stuff, and sometimes you got to do to snap your fingers like, I can't remember that, because we need to stop thinking that football is not a contact sport; it's a collision sport. We collide out there. That touching something, this is contact, just touching yourself. No, we out there. The reason why people watch, they saying, okay, you want to come see it? They're like, yeah, I ain't doing that. And then
I always say it like this, Ben. When you look at the NFL, there's typically about 60 plays in a game. So there's about at least 60 car wrecks a game.
Yeah, it's I mean, and like I said, I mean, I wouldn't take nothing away from the game of football, man. It is what it is. And when played the right way, sometimes you have to be reminded of what you're watching. You have to be reminded of what you're looking at. I know, see, what gets in the way is the concessions and the memorabilia and the high fives. And all of a sudden, boom, he ain't getting up. And even Nick Mangold, man, what makes Nick Mangold's rough was, he had been dealing with it for a long time. I mean, he's been on dialysis for like 10 years or something like that. So, and the thing about football players, being a football player and being a man, they collide with each other. Because men, we built a certain way. We don't typically ask for help, typically, unless it's just dire straits. We got to get out of that. And I'm talking to every NFL player, man. Don't do that stuff, man, because you can't wheel your way through it like you do on the football. But that's not going to work. And I'm not saying that's what Nick did. But what made Nick Mangold's rougher was the fact that he did reach out, and it just, it highlighted a bigger problem when you waiting on a kidney, you waiting on a heart, you waiting on a lung. It's a long line It's a long line. And I played to me with the greatest Jet center of all time when I was with the Titans, Kevin Mawai. And Nick Mangold remind me of him. I started every game, never missed a game. And our condolences definitely go out to the Mangold family, to the Martin family, because death gonna happen to us all. We hope that we get as many years. We pray and ask the God give us 100 years. But it's the family you leave behind, and it's the stories they have to tell. I mean, I saw recently that Sean Taylor's daughter, who plays, I think she plays volleyball for UNC. She's wearing number 21, and look at this. She spent her whole life hearing about her dad. You Sean Taylor's daughter? Oh, you Marvin Powell's kid? Yeah. And all of a sudden, you just sit back. Here come the stories. So Nick Mangold and Doug Martin, the families and that they left behind, the kids, wives, brothers, sisters. It's unfortunate. And like you said, Marvin, man, 41 years, 36 years. And like I said, to those people who played with those guys, I see a lot of players that, Darrell Revis and different guys coming out saying, man, I can't keep dealing with this, man. Because it's one thing to grow up hearing about it, but it was very seldom. Now it's, hey, man, Vincent Jackson, Doug Martin, the linebacker that played for the Eagles, Steven, that came out. It's unfortunate, man, but we have to do it. I would challenge every NFL player, both current, former, and future, man. Make sure you have podcasts the way y'all just come together, just talk to each other, check up on each other, man. And I know Marvin can do this too. Football players, we can really talk to each other. I said, man, what's really going on with you? Don't tell me what you told them, because they're afraid to really ask you. Just say, bro, what's up? And I'm not saying you telling me because I can help you, but you don't know if I can. You don't know if I know somebody. And it starts with therapy. Just talk to somebody, man. Talk to somebody they neutral. Because we so used to talking to somebody and they respond. That therapist gonna be like, go ahead. Like, keep going. Like, you don't got nothing to say? No. Do I need to have something to say? No. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead. Because what it does is that's gonna make you a better you, for your family, for your friends. And next thing you know, you showing up in a different way, man. So I as a person who goes to therapy myself, man, who understands that it's not. Stop talking to people who don't do what you do, and you're getting advice from the wrong people. If you want to go to SC, talk to Marvin. You want to go to UCLA, don't talk to Marvin. Because you're going to be like, you want to go to UCLA? Go. I mean, somebody got to go there. So I just think that for the players, we have a bigger voice than we know. We got to use it in the right way, and I'm not saying we're not. But yeah, man, Nick Mangold, and Doug Martin, it's always rough because we hear about the backstory after the fact. Yeah, man, he was dealing with this, dealing with that. I say, man, I didn't play with those guys, but I do remember Nick. Nick was just good at football, man. Like, I mean, you can talk trash to him, you got to deal with him, right? And Doug Martin, long line of big time running backs, Cadillac Williams, all them boys that came through Tampa. He was nice, man. Doug Martin was nice. So
yeah, he was.
But I just and look. I'm the same way I'm happy that the Jets got their first win, in remembrance of a Nick Mangold. It's the same reason why Denver scored 33 points on, when Demaryius Thomas died at 33. So they threw 33 points to beat the Giants. Now the Giants don't like the fact that they scored 33 in one quarter. Like, Jesus, I said they scored it in one quarter. So yeah, but man, just tell your family members you love them, man. Give them a hug. Even if they don't want to hug them, especially us guys, man, hug your sons, hug your brothers and your uncles, man. If they look at you and say, man, what's wrong with you? Say, what's wrong with you? What you hugging me for? Because I need to do this. We need to change this dynamic of what we think men do. Men do a lot of things, man. We just evolving, trying to evolve in, real time.
So didn't get a chance to bring this up last week, and there was a reason why I wanted to bring it up. Last week was National Tight End Week. So obviously, and I think it's even more fitting. I don't know if you noticed now after last Sunday's performance, Dallas Goedert is tied for the league lead in touchdown receptions. Didn't see that coming into the season. I think that's extremely fitting that on International Tight End Day, so to speak, that he wound up clicking that. But brought this, had this one up last week. That coming up. We also had the news that now Zach Ertz has now 800 receptions. He's one of 5 tight ends to hit that thing. I think that almost guarantees him a golden jacket, in my opinion. We'll see what happens, how that plays out. But who's your GOAT tight end? I mean, I'm going to start on Marvin on this one because just a simple fact. I know Ben's already got a few that he likes to throw up there. What about you, Marvin? Who do you think is the greatest tight end? Is it Gronk? Is it Gonzo? Is it Kelsey? Is it Sharp? Is it Antonio Gates? Is it Kellen Winslow Sr.? I mean, who is it for you? Who's one of those tight ends that you just can't get out of your head? When you think of tight end, this is the person you think of.
So again, I learned football from my dad, who played for the John McKay 1970 USC Trojan teams and played in the NFL in the mid-70s, mid-80s. This was a different NFL. And the main thing that my dad always stressed to me with football, the main part of the game that he stressed more than anything else was physicality, and just taking a man's heart. You know what I mean? So I took that and I turned myself into a blocking fullback, and that was my intent. So when I'm watching football, when I'm watching tight ends, I grew up watching, Mark Bavaro, old tight end for the Giants, and this is before we turned the tight end into the H-back and into the receiver. I appreciate a tight end that gets down that dirt and gets dirty. I do. I respect that so much. And with that said, I'm looking at guys like Ozzie Newsome, to be honest with you, guys who play with a certain physicality, but also with certain caliber athletes. And, of the list you got up there, I got to go with Tony G, just because all the guys on that list will tell you that they were chasing him. He's the one they were chasing. So for me, in this modern era of football, I'd have to say Tony Gonzalez is probably the GOAT. I don't know that Tony was the devastating blocker that I was talking about, but he's one of those guys that everybody points to. It's kind of like Marino at quarterback. I feel like Dan Marino is every quarterback's favorite quarterback. I feel like that's what Gonzalez is. So when I hear so many tight ends praising Gonzalez, that aligns with my initial thoughts of this guy's numbers and longevity, just put him at a certain level and put him in a certain conversation. So of that list, I think you have a great list up there. Because again, Gronk was physical. I think Kelsey plays the game physical. Andy Reid demands that. Shannon Sharp has admitted that he had to have a sit down with Mike Shanahan. When Mike Shanahan said to him, "If you don't pick up the block, and we got to get you up out of here." And this is when Shannon Sharp was, an elite tight end. So yeah, with me, it's big picture Ozzie Newsome. But in this modern era, since the merger, I'd have to go with Tony Gonzalez.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's one that on that thing that I'm going to throw a monkey wrench in and see if I think I know which way Ben's going on this, but I think I'm going to shock him with who I'll put on there. But Ben, obviously, we're just passing tight end week here in the NFL. Who is your GOAT, man?
Man, who is? I look at him in different ways. I call Tony Gonzalez the Godfather. Like he is. You go to a lab and you put together a tight end, Tony G gonna pop out, man. Like anything you need him to do, right? Because he also blocked for Priest Holmes when he was there, right? These guys came through. Larry Johnson, Penn State. So he's had some guys. Charles that came through. He's had a bunch of guys. Gronk to me made the tight end position the it position. He made it like the outside linebacker. They call it the year of Gronk, right? Travis Kelce to me is gonna be the GOAT when it's all because he's done everything a tight end can do. Catches, yards, influence, Super Bowls. He's done everything but be a Super Bowl MVP. But to me, the greatest tight end of all time to me is Shannon Sharp. For what you just said, Shannon Sharp to me is number one. Look at the era that he played in. Right? Look, he did not play in a passing era. He was that good of a catcher. He did not play in a passing era. He blocked for a 2,000-yard run. Terrell Davis is in the Hall of Fame. Who blocked for him? That was Shannon Sharpe. And he didn't play a long time. Shannon Sharpe, to me, this is why I call him the GOAT. You name anything, whether it's regular season, postseason, he's done it. See, certain players, they only did in the regular season. What about Super Bowls? Done it. Who has the longest play from scrimmage? Who has the longest play from scrimmage in a playoff game? That would be Shannon Sharpe. Yeah, when he was with the Ravens. Mm-hmm. And I'm just telling you, he played the game the right way. Yeah, he was a talker, man, but he was a great teammate. I would say that there is no such thing to me as a GOAT because that's very subjective. It depends on who you like, what you like. But what I'm saying is, if there was a tight end dinner for the greatest, Tony Gonzalez got to be there. Shannon Sharpe got to be there. Ozzie Newsome got to be there, right? Antonio Gates, who has the most touchdown catches in the NFL heretofore, tight end who played basketball, has to be there. Kelsey has to be there. Kellen Winslow Sr. has to be there. Mm-hmm. And then you sit them down. These conversations have to be had by the guys that do it. Let them sit down. And Shannon Sharpe, because I ain't never seen production like Tony Gonzalez. Like, he's third all time in catches behind Larry Fitzgerald and freaking Jerry Rice. That's crazy. Like, most guys want to have 500 catches. He got like 1,300. It's ridiculous. And when he went to Atlanta, he didn't drop off. That's what made me really love Tony G. Played for my Falcons, man. Wish they would have won Super Bowl. That's a total different. And that's when they got Roddy White. That's when they got Julio Jones. And that's when they got Michael Bernard Turner. He's still doing it. But the tight end position, to me, I'm happy at it. Now, you see what tight ends get to do now. It's because of the Kellen Winslows. It's because of, Navarro's. It's because of I can't even think his name for freaking played for the Bears. End up coaching not playing for the Bears. Dicker. It's for guys like that because the tight end position was always, they glorified offensive tackle. You get to go out and catch them. Now, I mean, you're running your offense through them. You're passing. And I will say this. I never thought I would see anybody even close to Tony G. And here comes Travis Kelce. I didn't think nobody could touch that.
I think that's the craziest thing that Kansas City has had. Two of the best all-time tight ends.
Yeah,
I think
man.
it's one of the craziest things.
But I will say this. Tony Gonzalez, I try to stay away from winning the Super Bowl because that's a team distinction. It's what a team does. Tony Gonzalez was super productive every year in the league. He's led the league in catches, yards, touchdowns. He's done it all. He just never won a Super Duper. And a lot of players can say that. I just think without a Navarro, without a Bucket, without a Dicker, you don't have these tight ends now. It's a maturization process. It just goes up and goes up and goes up. And now, you birthed a Brock Bowers. That's what comes from it over the years. And the greatest thing about it is no matter what they're doing now, we've already seen it. Oh, I've seen that. Oh, man, you remind me of this. So you remind me of that. You play like him. No, man, he's better than him. Let me tell you something. There is no such thing as better than when I'm one of the greatest. Numbers don't matter then. When they say, man, you wonder, when Marvin Powell gets into the Hall of Fame, they're going to say, about time. Because every other O-lineman going to say, dude, yo, dad. And that's the thing, right? We think, oh, man, better numbers don't mean a better player. We need to stop. He had better numbers than him. And you know who had better numbers than Starworth and Lynn Swann? Every receiver in the Hall of Fame. But they wasn't better than him. I mean, Lynn Swann ain't got like 500 catches, but they didn't run. They didn't throw the ball. They didn't. So I'm just happy that the National Tight End Day is so good. And shout out to Mercedes Lewis. Mercedes Lewis is back in the NFL again on another team.
You read my mind, brother. 41 years old. If he gets signed if he gets put on the 53-man roster and makes a catch, he will be one of I think the only two other people have catches past the ages of 41. That's Tom Brady and Jerry Rice.
Hey man, I remember when Mercedes Lewis came out, UCLA. Him and Maurice Jones-Drew, man. And they both went. Mercedes went first round, and Maurice Jones-Drew was second round to Jacksonville. If you would have told me Mercedes was going to play this long, and to me, I love stuff like that. Like he's the godfather of tight ends as far as like longevity. Like somewhere his wife is saying, "All right, Mercedes, this is it. Okay, we're gonna do it just one more time." Hey, man, the more you can do, the more you can do it. And I never saw him playing that long. But yeah, man, shout out to the tight end. If the tight end position is appreciated, we need to bring back more fullbacks because for this reason, I'm gonna say this: tight ends aren't fullbacks. Just because I can motion into the backfield and I'm gonna say this right. I don't want no part of no linebackers, man. Not run up in no hole. Listen, 2 blocks that a tight end don't want. I don't want to motion the backfield and run and coming up in the hole to hit a linebacker. And this, I motion to the right and I come all the way back to the left. Don't nobody want to do no man. We need to do a documentary on fullbacks and as much as we love Emmitt Smith, you know who he had Moose the whole time. And that's significant. And I think that if we can have a national tight end day, man, we need to have a national fullback day because all these tight ends that's motion to the backfield, every time that play comes in,
I'm about to shock the both of you with my pick here, right? You guys all going over the normal suspects, right? Who's the guy we ain't mentioning right now? That's Jason Witten. Yeah. That obviously he followed Jay Novacek down there in Dallas, but he was something else. Everyone loves talking about Jeremy Shockey. We love talking about all these other guys. You know what I mean? But I think Jason doesn't get the love he got because he's having the reverse effect.
He's number 4 all time. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. He's having that reverse cowboy effect. You know what I mean? He wasn't a part of the early '90s team, so he doesn't have that, the Super Bowls and stuff like that. He's part of those Tony Romo teams, but he was more than a lot to handle. I used to absolutely hate it. It'd be like we'd be playing Dallas, it'd be like third and 9. We're like, all right, we got this. It's gonna be 3 and out. Next thing you know, Jason went for fucking 15 yards. So.
Oh yeah, I never saw that either, man. Him having that level of production was, it's
at that time like it was unheard of.
Yeah. Him and Tony Romo, man. He's the greatest option route runner. You couldn't stop it, man. He just was, and that's a lot of football. I know he went to the Raiders, and then after he went to the Raiders, he said, "Okay, I can't do football no more." I got the.
I think going to the Raiders now is where careers go to die. If you're looking at it,
it's rough, man. It's been a as a person that played for the Raiders when Lane Kiffin was the head coach. I was there when Lane Kiffin was the head coach, okay. and Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell was the quarterback, and Darren McFadden was the running back, and Nnamdi Asomugha was a cornerback, and D'Angelo Hall was the other. I mean, they had a good nucleus of players. Bad coaching, and I got to meet Al Davis. I know his wife just died, man. May she rest in peace, man. It's like, right place, right time. Player got to shot the ball, and shout out to and on fullbacks. Never played with him, Lorenzo Neal.
Oh
Lorenzo
yeah,
Neal. Listen to me.
Fresno State.
They even talk about Lorenzo Neal when I was with the Titans. They were saying, "Listen, Eddie George, LaDainian, he done blocked for so many backs, man.
That's right.
Guys like that, you got to start respecting what guys did. You got to respect it more because people are saying anybody can do it. That's not the fullback, man. Is an unsung position, and when you got one, look at the production on them backs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Michael Robinson out there with beast mode.
And since we're talking about backs production, let's get into the title of today's show. Looking at obviously we're all impressed with what's going on down there in Indianapolis. Have y'all seen what Jonathan Taylor is doing down there number wise? Have y'all seen the breakdown? He's already got 3 games where he has over 3 touchdowns. He's a touchdown shy of Saquon Barkley's total from last season. We're only through 8 weeks. He's projected as if he keeps this pace for over 2,200 yards rushing. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. Jonathan, is this year that Dickerson's record goes down? Is Jonathan Taylor going to do it this year? It kind of looks like it. I'd be inclined to say that he does break the single season NFL rushing record. Be kind of funny would be the year after Saquon almost did it. But I'm gonna start off with you, Marvin. You think Jonathan Taylor is can continue this pace the rest of the way and break Eric Dickerson's record?
Can he do it? I mean, he's on pace to do it, and he's that caliber of back. We've seen that through his career. A lot of games left, a lot of football left, a lot more carries to go. And the reality is, can they hold on to this? Because the Colts and what they're doing. I mean, nobody saw this coming. Jonathan Taylor is playing, and I've been going back and forth on this, whether he's the MVP over a quarterback. He's absolutely the leading MVP candidate right now for me, because everybody's talking about this Colts team and Daniel Jones. And if he's not giving the ball to Jonathan Taylor, and Jonathan Taylor isn't controlling that clock, and Jonathan Taylor isn't putting them in good third and short, and Jonathan Taylor, isn't beating up that defense, the Colts aren't doing what they're doing. He's the MVP of the season. He's the guy right now who has a quarterback who's playing efficient, who looks great. This is old school football. This is the Colts committing to a ground game. Ground games travel, run game travels, and I see this guy being productive moving forward. I don't know what their schedule is, but something, it's an NFL schedule. And when people talk about, well, they play this team, they play that team, they're playing NFL teams every week, and every team has paid players, so regardless of who they're playing, it's going to be a gauntlet. But right now, for where he's at, I mean, he's done it the first half of the season. Why would you think he couldn't do it the second half of the season? So yeah, I think it's extremely realistic for him. And it's impressive watching him compete with Mahomes and Jones and these other guys, Baker Mayfield, for this MVP race. The MVP race is going to be an interesting one. But yeah, I could see him breaking that record at the pace he's going. And I wouldn't have said that, you get a lot of running backs every year who start off fast, and, you don't compare them to Eric Dickerson, but Jonathan Taylor is a special back. He was special in college. He's been special throughout his career with a few injuries in the NFL. This is no fluke. This isn't smoke and mirrors. This is really who he is. When you put him in a situation where he has an efficient offense, a line of quarterback, competent head coach, competent play caller, he can do it.
I think it was great. I seen this graphic, right? I think it was one of the runs he had last week. They were like, can you gain 5 yards rushing in the NFL? Well, the Colts had opened up a hole literally about 5 yards wide that Jonathan Taylor ran through. I mean, he's having a magical first half of the season. Again, Ben, what are you feeling on this? You think JT's going to do it where Saquon did it last year?
I think he can. With everything more, I think he can. I mean, I think the thing about a guy like Jonathan Taylor, we don't, but people forget how incredible he was in college. He won the Doak Walker like 2 years in a row. He's like a 2-time unanimous All-American. Jonathan Taylor is the type of back. Jonathan Taylor just sat back and said, everybody want to talk about Josh Jacobs. Everybody want to talk about Derrick Henry. Everybody want to talk about Saquon. I've been doing this too. He just needed a quarterback that he could trust. That's not going to put him in bad situations. Because when Anthony Richardson was in there, he had to do so much. It was just him. Now that I got Warren and Downs and, Michael Pittman Jr., and I got, Daniel Jones, Daniel Indiana Jones, they open it up. They make it so that you can't just, a game plan against me. Jonathan Taylor is nasty good. Like, and I hate it had to happen against my Titans, man. Oh, he had a play last week. He's like tiptoeing down the sideline. Like, the only thing Jonathan Taylor he don't like is he dropped the ball before he went in the end zone last year. He shouldn't have done it. We get it. Jonathan, when we talk about the best backs, Jonathan Taylor is always in that conversation. Jonathan Taylor is going to get his just due. And Eric Dickerson nervous now. because Jonathan Taylor can rail off of. He hasn't tailed off. He has been the most consistent player and best player for the Colts all year long. Take nothing away from what Daniel Jones is doing. He has been, yeah. Can he do it? Yes. They're gonna have to make a concerted effort because 9 games left. They got like 800 some yards rushing already. All these touchdowns. The closer you get to the record, the more these defense like, man, I don't want them to break it against me. I don't want them to break it against me. So do I think he gets to 2,000 yards? He got a shot. He got a real shot. Mm-hmm. And he's a really, really good player and seems to be a really, really good teammate. He don't seem to be a look at me guy. He doesn't seem to be a what about me guy. He says, look, I'm going to do whatever the team needs me to do. And if you are the AFC South, good luck trying to deal with that because Jonathan Taylor, his vision, I mean, it's unfair what he can do to people. That whole, if it opens up for a millisecond, man, he's through it. And he's already, and he got home run speed. So, like I said, he's been doing it since the days of Wisconsin. He understands angles. He understands running downhill. But yeah, what he's doing right now, he's putting the league on notice because it's almost like you want to talk about everybody but Jonathan Taylor at running back. Where he's like, okay, those days are over with. Y'all gonna know, and he's already done.
Brought that part up because remember we were all talking. Saquon has changed everything for the running back position. Did everyone forget what happened to JT the year before? Does everyone forget about that? When he sat there and took a stand like I'm done with the franchise tag. I will sit out, pay me. Everyone forgets that wasn't Saquon that started that. That was Jonathan Taylor. So everyone was talking about, oh, where's JT going to wind up? Who's going to know? This the one right thing Indianapolis did last season was make sure they got JT under contract. I think he still has another year left on that. I think he signed a 3-year deal if I remember correctly. So listen, he's having a great season. I think he, like you said, he has a real chance to do it. He is in a weak division is another reason why I'm kind of leaning towards the fact that I think he'll be able to do it because I think the last month of the season he's going to be lined up with some interdivisional games. So we'll see. But on pace, if he does, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I know there's going to be some of us Eagles fans that are going to be pretty green because we thought that Saquon could have did it last year. He probably could have, but the way he was playing and the fact that we were playing the Giants last game of the season, but we got the bye, we got the Super Bowl. I'll take all that over that personal achievement any day of the week. But let's move on to the next one. Carson Wentz is absolutely cursed, man. I'm going to say it now. I seen what, everyone forgets, obviously, the initial injury that basically started the beginning of the end here in Philadelphia, where he completely blew out his knee against the Rams. But then literally has played the last 2.5 games with, his labrum was torn. They're saying there's some issue with the actual socket himself from him playing. One, let's give due we're due. Carson Wentz is one tough dude. Regardless if you buy into where he was drafted, if he should have been drafted there, regardless of everything that's happened, between 2018 and this season, the fact that he's played almost the last 3 games with one shoulder, and I don't know why the Minnesota Vikings would do that to that man, but he's a tough SOB. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, I think he came back from that knee injury too fast, if people remember, which caused him to have a back injury that following season, and then proceeded the Eagles to said they're having enough of this and bringing in a Jalen Hurts, which was obviously the right choice there, but Carson's just a tough dude, man. I hate to see it to happen to a guy like him, but man, he absolutely has to. You have to say he's cursed at this point in time as far as the injuries goes, because he gets his first kind of real shot since the Commanders season. to start and have a decent caliber team to do it, and just always something happens. I mean, I still see flashes of why we let him go. Obviously, when we played him a few weeks ago, he tends to throw balls that don't need to be thrown into the wrong position and tends to go back the other way. And we've already talked about it on here. Is protecting the ball, I think, is one of the not calculated tactics that we've seen put into quarterback play. I don't think some of these quarterbacks get enough credit for not turning the ball over as much, but Carson's I guess he's in that Brett Favre mold. He is the gunslinger of gunslingers of this day and age. But
yeah, he's Brett Favre minus the MVPs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
In the consecutive game streak. Yeah, he's Brett. Other than that, he's Brett
Favre. Yeah. They did everything to keep Brett on the field. I don't know if Carson would have went through that, but I mean he's cursed, man. Like just injuries, situational. 6 teams in 6 years. It's been a roller coaster ride for that kid. I think this might be the end for him. Let's start off with Ben on this one.
Yeah, you might be right. What Carson Wentz did for North Dakota State, 2nd overall pick, those caliber of players. You making sure, here comes Jordan Love, here comes Josh Allen, right? You get players like that to say, hey man, we play football over here too. The injuries are going to happen in the league. Most players have never dealt with injuries till they got to the league. That's how physical the game is. And if you are Carson Wentz, he's having an MVP caliber season, and he does the RPO. He's trying to go into the end zone, and he tears his AC. Since then, he hasn't been the same, because once a player has a significant injury, you got to play on that knee, that ankle, whatever you did, and play at a high level to get that confidence back. And Carson Wentz got to see the teams that he wanted to do. He wanted to be Nick Foles. He wanted to be Jalen Hurts. It just didn't happen that way, and then he became a journeyman. And yes, he got to win the Super Bowl as a backup, but then he gets to lose the Super Bowl as a backup against the team that drafted him. A lot of those, and then obviously he saw what Sam Darnold did in Minnesota last year. Like, okay, if I can step in. I think Carson Wentz has had so many bad moments in his career that's what's replaying in his mind. Like he can't let that stuff is in the past, man. You got to live. You got to live in the now. And I hope it's not the end for him, but if it is, I will say, look, all runs ain't going to be the same, man. Everybody's not going to have that, Jerome Bettis. My last game was in Detroit, where I'm from with the Super Bowl. Everybody's not going to have those type runs, but you played 10 years, man. You made a lot of money. You're a Super Bowl champion. The question is going to be, will the Eagles let him retire an Eagle? Like when he wants to retire, can he call the organization? They say, man, can I just – because there are certain teams you want to end it with. When Aaron Rodgers comes out and says, look, when my career is over, I'm going to retire a Green Bay Packer. Like, we know how it's going to be. Y'all, you appreciate the Jets, appreciate Pittsburgh, because come on now. Y'all know what made me me. If it is Carson Wentz, because to me, that is something that a lot of players don't get to do either. There are a lot of players that reach out to the teams that they want to retire from, and sometimes they say no, right? That happens. See, we see the ones, they let them, they come in, they high-fiving people, there are a bunch of players, hey, man, it depends on your contribution, who's the owner, and did they like you? You know what? And you know how you know that's crazy? Have you seen Cam Newton do anything with Carolina? Anything. Their greatest player, Cam Newton, said he was doing an event with his 7-on-7, C1N. And he says he's walking through there. His little boy said, Daddy, where your pictures at? What? Like, where are your pictures at? And he said, a guy that works at Bank of America Stadium said, oh man, they up on the 2nd floor. So they don't got them when you walking on the main. Everybody might not want to go upstairs. Think about that for a second. The greatest Carolina Panther of all time, taking that away from Julius Peppers and Steve Smith Sr., Luke Kuechly. His son is saying, "Daddy, where are you at?" He's like, "Hey, stuff." It's little things like that. Like why? And I for Carson Wentz, I hope he gets to have his
I think just because it's Jeffrey Lurie and you still have Harry Roseman there. I think let's just say for argument's sake, he's done after the season. He wants to retire his 1-day contract. I don't see why they would say no.
I don't think they would. I'm not saying they would either. I just think that players, there are certain things that every player has on a checklist, and no one knows what that is. And a lot of times, it's very, very small. It's not. It's when Marvin Powell goes into the Hall of Fame. Marvin's behind that door. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, because that's so rare. Nerve-wracking. What you think is harder? Waiting to get drafted or to be at a hotel where you literally can't go outside. We're gonna sit in here and hope to get that knock. And when you get that knock, everybody, whoa, be quiet. I'll never know what that's like, right? But it's so rare. And what's rarer than that is the player get to going out on his own terms. That's the rarest air there is. Hey, say what you want about Tiki Barber. He went out on top. Hey, man, I can still play. I'm good. Now, he probably shouldn't have said what he said about the Eagles because they go off and win it next year. He have to do all that. But I want for certain players to be able to have, because every player, and all the people going to know is your wife or your significant other or your kids. They won't nobody else know. And when they say, so when Mrs. Powell says, so you going to be ready? Like, when they knock on that door? Absolutely not. Absolutely. And listen, just have the tissues ready. Because that means that y'all acknowledge what my dad did, man. Like, all that. Of course, if I'm his son, I'm going to speak up on his behalf. But look at the tape.
Yeah.
I don't care that the tape was in VHS. Find a VHS, stick it in, and look at the D lineman going the opposite way. And you know what I'm saying? So for Carson, for those type of – everybody's not going to be a Travis Kelce. That's rare. Or the Patrick Mahomes. Those are the one-of-ones, man. I get it. He's going to get married to Taylor Swift. He's more known for being a Swiftie. Listen, when your wife is so famous that she can't even take your last, she's going to be Taylor Swift. She's not going to be Taylor Swift Kelce. She's going to be Taylor Swift. I now pronounce you Travis and Taylor. That's rare air. I'm talking about you played for 4 years. You really didn't play that much. And you say, is it okay if I retire a Titan, a Jet? Yeah, man, come on in. That to me is what an organization should go. It don't cost them nothing to let you walk through there with your nice suit on, take some pictures. When teams say, nah, that's petty. Because
I agree with that.
And the reason why I call it petty is this. Look, man, I just want this moment. This is my selfish moment. I want this. Don't kill it for me. That's it.
What do you think, Marvin? Is Carson Crescent, is this the end?
No, this is absolutely the end. I mean, listen, the reality is this, man. This North Dakota State story when he was being drafted, going through the draft process, it was cute. Honestly, it was a cute. I never really bought into him as like that guy, and I think ultimately, I think that time has showed us that he's not a certain caliber of quarterback. Is he in the top 100? Sure. But is he at the top of that 50? Nah, I don't think so. Listen, all the injuries, he plays quarterback in the NFL. Every single defensive play is drawn up to do one thing: attack the quarterback. The question they ask that you should ask is, how is this defense going to attack the quarterback? Because that's all they're thinking about. This is, as Ben said, it's a violent game. It's a violent game of collisions. That's what it is. This is a game where the guys on defense, before the ball snap, the thought of going out there and injuring you and hurting you and putting you on that gurney, that runs through their mind. They might not tell you that, but when you turned up, you're thinking all kind of crazy stuff. I could tell you that as a fullback, blocking fullback. Ben can tell you that as a I would say offensive line, as a tight end who puts his hand in the dirt. You got the moments where you just you really want to go get it. So he's being attacked every play. His body obviously hasn't been able to hold up. You see why Brett Favre was on them painkillers, because when you are the most targeted man in pro sports, as NFL quarterbacks are, I mean, it's The human body wasn't made for that. The human body wasn't made to play football. The human body was not made to take those hits. The human body wasn't made to get that blindside backer, damn near breaking your neck. You weren't built for that. So it's tough, man. And you see the totality of injuries just add up to him. He's playing this. Don't feel sorry for him, Steve. He signed up for this. He's getting getting a big check.
I'm thankful for him. If it was, listen. Everything put aside, he didn't fulfill expectations. He got overpaid for his contract. If we don't trade him, thank you Indianapolis, thank you New Orleans Saints. I mean, we wouldn't have the team we had now. If we didn't make that trading.
Y'all Herschel Walker.
There is no Devontae Smith. There is no Jalen Carter. There is no a lot of guys that are on this team that make up the nucleus of this team. So as much as I don't feel sorry for him, like, listen, like you said, these guys sign up for it. But at the end of the day, him being here, him having that you could call it a flash in the pan, whatever. Him having that season gave us the capital to sit there and say this is still a first round guy, and got back a great haul to retool our team after winning a Super Bowl to put us in this position right now where people are throwing around some crazy numbers. What the Eagles have done over the past few years since Nick Sirianni got here, so I'm thankful for his time here.
Yeah.
I still got his freaking autograph on my wall, man. Like, I don't like. I'm not upset about his time being here. I'm thankful that he was here because he's brought us to good players in for when he left. So, like Ben said, I would find it extremely hard to believe that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman and the guys wouldn't bring him in to do a one-day contract when and if he does hang it up and says this is the end of his career.
Oh, yeah. I think the Eagles will. And I think a guy like Jalen Hurts will be at his press conference showing respect to him because, man, this man played 10 years. He's never made less than $1 million since he's been in the league. He was second overall pick. He signed the contract extension. He's done well for himself. The young man I don't know if he's from North Dakota, but that's where he went to college at. I've been to North Dakota. If you've never been there, you haven't missed anything. You haven't missed one thing. I'm just telling you, you just have there. Listen, there is cold and there is North Dakota cold. It is whoop. But I think for a Carson Wentz, I just look at it. Look, 10 years used to be the barometer for every player. But I just want to play 10 years. I want to retire. And now we look at what could have happened. Look, I think the only thing, if he has a regret, is the type of teammate he was perceived to be when he was in Philly. I think, and over time, that'll grow old too. That because players, not to bring him up, but there are players who will say, "Man, I went about it wrong." Like, because I used to think that the type of player you were is what you said you were. Wrong. The type of player you were is what your teammates said you were. You don't believe me? Ask them. They ain't got no reason to lie. They ain't gonna lie on you, and they ain't gonna lie to you. With a guy like Carson, over time, you can appreciate. Because Carson said, "Yeah, I kind of got the big head a little bit because of the position I was in." And to be quite honest with you, I didn't think Jalen was going to be that good. I did not see that happen.
That was his biggest problem. I think what Darren Sproles has said on, I think it was Deshaun Jackson on Sean McCoy's podcast. Just stuff that Carson was doing, like he refused to run the offense that they won the Super Bowl. He had the whole offense change. Then he was specifically just targeting Zach Ertz. He wasn't going through the reads, and it was getting Sproles upset because the way that offense, like Darren Sproles was lethal in that offense. Mm-hmm. So, like it was, I guess he wasn't as loud vocally in the media when he was here, but he made it known like there was things Carson's did that he should have handled way differently. And I believe those are long. I don't say Carson was a bad teammate. He may have had what quarterback doesn't have a big head at sometimes? Like, come on.
I mean, no. I'm not saying he's wrong for it. Sometimes as players, right? When you young and you trying to figure stuff out, I don't know what a quarterback deals with. I don't know what a fullback deals with, but I know we all got the same. It's different levels of pressure. But what I'm saying is Carson just seems like to say, dude, it's where you do it, not that you do it. You do it in Philly, that's different. You do it in New York, that's different. You see, it's certain places, it's just different. And I think for Carson, he's saying, I'm at the twilight of my career, man. Like it's coming to an end sooner rather than later. Mm-hmm. Is there any way, I don't know what the Philadelphia area code is. How you doing, Mr. Roseman, man? This is Carson. Can we make this happen?
It's two numbers. It's either 215 or 267.
You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that.
And to Ben's point, Steve, you talk about why is he out there playing hurt, all these injuries. He's fighting for his career. He's fighting for an opportunity, to make some plays and stay relevant. I was like that in Green Bay playing with a torn hamstring. I realized that you can't make the club in the tub. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to go out there and try to thug it out, especially me being a no-name young player. This is a quarterback. All eyes are on him, And, at the end of the day, people don't give a damn about your injuries.
Oh, you ain't lying, Bob.
You
get out your car with the you can get out. Listen, you can get out your car with the crutch. Hey, Marvin, you going today?
Exactly. That's the real deal. That is the real deal.
Listen. You ever see you see when the player get hurt and the coach go out there? Do you think the coach is going there to see how hurt he is? No, he's going. He's out. Oh, damn. He's gone. His leg is turned the wrong way. So is he done?
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you're bringing this up. I'm glad you're bringing this up because this is going to go into my next point. Finish up, Marvin, though.
No. I was just saying. I mean, listen. A lot of players have been there. You know what I'm saying? You just you realize your career is winding down. That you realize that it ain't looking good. And he's out there he's fighting for his career. I have no doubt that Carson Wentz, Ben was talking about how much money he's made, and that's what the position gives you. But this guy loves football, man. He wants to compete. He wants to be out there. From a player perspective, my heart goes out to him when you see him out there trying to thug it out. But this is a grown man's league where these is young killers out there, man. You can't go out. You can't go out there. Injured here, injured there. If you can't go 100%, you're gonna look like shit, and it shows. And you're gonna
they're gonna make you look. Yeah. Listen, one day, me and Marvin gonna just come on here and we're gonna say, listen, this is football 1-on-1. I said the last time football was cute, they were 6 and 7. Right. That's the last time it was cute. Because they don't know what my nephew is 6. He played for the Bobblehead Raiders. He played for the Bobble, and he mad. He told my Uncle Benny, I don't like the fact they call me the Bobblehead Raiders. I said, have you seen how big he is? Think about this. So what I'm telling you, and sometimes even a 6-year-old, I let another 6-year-old go, no, hey, dude, I play football for real. You just out here to make sure the teams are even. Sometimes little Timmy ain't getting up. It's and the higher up you go, a DB, 185-pound DB could ruin your life. Bam! I mean, it's the hardest hit you ever gonna take is not from a linebacker, it's from a safety. I don't know who taught safeties how to hit, but they will knock your soul out and then tell your soul to get up and knock it out too. I'm gonna knock you out.
Now, we're on this injury thing, and we're going to have to absolutely go over this, and it's very unfortunate, obviously. During the Eagles game, James Scadaboo foot decided to bank hard right. There is Giants fans crying and moaning, saying it is the hip drop tackle. First off, stop it, Giants, stop it. How you hip drop tackle somebody in midair? Please explain that one to me. Explain. Listen, it's an unfortunate injury. Cam and Zach Bond both went up. It was a basic circle route for your running back. Cut in front of Bond. Bond jumped up with it. Cam got his feet tangled up underneath him. He got rolled up, and unfortunately, dislocated ankle. I heard today he not only was the ankle dislocated, he also broke part of his leg, and the muscle. The muscle there got ruptured as well. So he's got a hell of a road to come back. First and foremost, big up to the fans in the stadium. They gave Cam a standing ovation. Far cry from the Michael Irvin hit, but even more for the Philadelphia fan base. Big Dom went to the hospital, dropped them off some cheesesteaks, dropped them off some pizzas, make sure that he was good before his surgery. Class move from Philadelphia. obviously being that it's a rival, it's it's something that you could smile about. But unfortunate thing for the Giants because he is a part of that new culture down there in New York. Rough injury to go through. That they've been getting hit this season. Obviously, their number one receivers done for the year. Now Cam goes out. I think everyone's talking about what moves the Eagles are going to make. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Giants try to make a few moves just so that young Jackson Dart has some options, not just that running back, but also adding another wide receiver because I think the kid Hyatt was a healthy scratch last week, and he's another guy who was in my opinion someone who'd be a playmaker for them. But unfortunate injury. It is not a hip drop tackle. Giants fans, please stop with that. Please, I do not want to hear that anymore.
Let me tell you something. We have this game. We've taken physicality out the game in a way that it really bothers me. Again, I'm a guy that learned the game from an offensive lineman's perspective, an old school offensive lineman, and I see these quarterback hits and head hunting and hip drop and. Look, I know we want to make the game safer, and I get that, but it is what it is. This game ain't meant to be soft. If you want to do that, go do the tennis. Go do gospel choir or step team. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't for everybody. This is what it is, and it's just let me tell you like this. These defensive players, they're just trying to hold on. They're just trying to make contact and hold on. They ain't trying to like hip drop and hurt your ankle and choke you out through the cowboy. They're not. They just trying to grab something, because you got big old Derrick Henry, running up the middle, running to the outside. Let me tell you something. Them boys ain't trying to hit him when he going full speed. Believe that. Them tough dudes. You got men in that league who ain't trying to hit him. You know what I'm saying? So, Giant fans crying about the kind of tackle it was. I didn't even see it. I haven't seen the injury. I heard about it. I don't have to see those things. When they say it's bad, I believe them.
Yeah, exactly. I ain't trying to go. Let me see how bad it is.
I don't do it. No, you want to know how bad it was? They refused to show it on the television.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do, man.
Yeah. That's really tough on the families too. I know that the family is the minority of the people watching.
His dad was there. His dad was at the game.
Yeah, well, that's a tough deal, But no, man, it's a tough injury. It's part of the game. It is what it is. These defensive players are just trying to make contact, man. I don't look at them as dirty. This is this new NFL era we're in today. Again, I get it. The lawsuit and the physicality of the game and all that, but it's killing me sometimes, man. He'll be all right. What the Giants should do, they should trade for Breece Hall because we ain't. I mean, he balled last week, but. We need assets.
They only got one more win than you at this point in time in the season.
But they got a quarterback who's playing with like his hair on fire. I like Dart. I like Dart. I like him at USC.
I'll say this much. As much as I've been making fun of the Giants, all of us have been making fun of the Giants over the past 2 seasons. They got that one right. They messed up not getting Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels has been taking a whooping.
It's a crapshoot, right? Steve. Hey, none of these dudes getting it right. They all lucky. You don't know what you getting. These dudes can't evaluate quarterback like they say. These dudes, it's a crapshoot at quarterback. It is a complete crap. I don't care what you say. It's a crapshoot. It doesn't matter if it's Russell Wilson in the 3rd round, if it's Tom Brady in the 5th round, if it's old boy in the Niners in the 7th round, Mr. Irrelevant, if it's Caleb Williams. It is a crapshoot. That's really how I look at it, man. But I'm off that.
No, you're right. No, you are 100% right. Number one, I didn't want to see it. It's breaking news on ESPN app. Like, oh man, as soon as I hear the word gruesome, I don't want to. I don't want to see it. Yeah. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Think about what football players are privy to. If you're sitting right there, you're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I knew it was bad when Jackson Dart was on the field, like basically.
Yeah, man, bringing that air cast, and now I will say this. You're right, Marvin. People need to be reminded what's going on sometimes. Like, we get so caught up in we want every game. Nobody gets hurt. Everybody walks off the way they walked home. No, sometimes you have to be reminded. Sometimes the defensive player will hit you and say, defensive players, I'm gonna knock you out today. What? I'm trying to knock you out. And sometimes it happens. Now, that's the goal. The goal is to get to your backup quarterback to knock him out. Scatterboo is a problem. Jackson Dart is a problem. Malik Neighbors is a problem. Now, on the field, you're going to say all the right thing. Yeah, man, I saw that injury. In the locker room, I told you I was going to get him there. I told you. The fact that we played football as long as we had without them type of gruesome injuries. We played since we were 7, 8. Now we 20s and 30s. When my daughter called me, Dad, you saw what happened to Scatterboo? I said, that's football, baby. No, listen to me. What we're watching before that is entertainment through football. Football has to remind you. Ask the players that's gotten hurt, which is all of us that's played. Hurt means you can keep playing. Injured means you can't. You're like, man, he's on. That's why they call it IR. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's hurt.
Everybody's hurt.
They can do a documentary on the locker room before the game. You're going to see all kind of stuff. All kind of stuff just to make it to the game. You're going to hear, dude, what you doing? Don't worry about me. You see our offensive lineman hands, you can't even see them because they got so much tape on them? Because this is how they make their living. Fullbacks might wear a cowboy. Why? Because, man, a fullback name could be called the Punisher. I am here to punish people over and over and over. And just when you don't want them more, bring the backup in. And I'm a punt. If I did that to the starter, what you think I would do to the backup? Because he's 21, I'm going to knock his 21 behind out. Boom, just like I did. So Scatterboo learned real quick. It can change real fast, youngin. You can be on top of the world. And next thing you know, you ain't even know a foot could do that. Like, what the? Think about this. It looks like people just got dude, car wrecks people don't look crazy like that in a car. Another human being did that to you. And that's off a tackle that happened this fast. Right? So it's ugly, it's nasty, it's gruesome. And guess what? After they get you off the field, play continues. They don't stop no games. They stop it long enough to go get the ambulance. They clap. We do the he do the wave. They'll say, all right, back to the action. I remember what's it? I just had his name. Running back for Miami. They got his leg just decapitated in the national championship against Ohio State. It was gruesome. They showed it.
Gore?
Huh?
Was it Frank Gore?
No, not Frank Gore. The one that came in for him. God, he played for the Ravens. I can't even think his name right now. Frank Gore's the only reason why he played. Frank Gore was the backup, the Clinton Portis. Yeah. And then all I'm saying when it comes to football fans, football players, this is what we do. We go, oh, that's crazy. That's not. Because I'm telling you, we've seen some stuff in practice that never made the news that you're going.
They just move the ball up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the thing in practice. They'll just move the drill up. Listen, as a coach will go, listen. Coach will look back a little bit. And depending on the player, coach will go, oh, man, that's crazy, man. Oh, yeah, man. You know what he does? Pat him on the back. Sorry, son. Keep it going.
Speaking of ugly, that game was ugly for other reasons. Because we've been talking about refereeing in other sports. The referees missed 11 calls last Sunday in that Eagles game, going both ways. The tush push should have been a fumble. You heard it from an Eagles fan. The tush push play should have been a fumble. I was losing it. I'm like, why did you reach out there? That's a fumble. And they called it dead. They wouldn't let it be reviewed. The play before, for whatever reason, Jalen's going out of bounds. He gets hit out of bounds. They initially throw a flag, then they pick it up. On the missed field goal that Jake Elliott, they whistled the play dead before the ball was even kicked, but somehow the play still counted. You had Nick Sirianni blowing a gasket out there. There was so many missed calls in that game last Sunday, and I think I'm starting to see it now. They're going to ban the tush push next year because they don't know how to officiate it anymore, which is mind-boggling to me. You are paying these guys to call a game, and they can't get one play right. One play. It is beyond me. If this is why this eventually gets banned, I'm going to lose it just because of the simple fact you pay referees for a reason, right? How can they not get one play right? You're calling all this taunting, all this nonsense. You're calling illegal blocking downfield on linemen for nonsense stuff. How can't we get this play right? We're halfway through the season and they still haven't called this play right. I'm going to openly admit that. There's been times where we're false starting. There's times where they're lined up in the neutral zone. And then last week with the fumble, it is absolutely mind-blowing to me how we are now 9 weeks into this season, year 3 of this play, and we can't get it right. What is going on with the NFL referees right now? I can't. Marvin, straighten these lines out for me. I don't get it.
Listen, the reality is this: if you've been a fan of this game long enough, and I know all 3 of us have, bad call. You've benefited from bad calls. And also, you've been hurt by bad calls. You know what I mean? Without question, it's gone both ways for you. Human error is part of the game. It is. It's part of the game. I think that the bigger thing that we should be thinking about is Vegas and this gambling. There's so much money on these games that there is tremendous pressure from the outside to get it right. I mean, this is the gambling is bigger than the game almost. Well, it is, not almost, without question. So it's like, they got to get this right. And then you have to ask yourself, how much do you want to incorporate technology and take the humans out of it? Because that's something that's coming, you know what I mean, without question. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Does it change the culture of the game? I don't know, but I see that coming. But yeah, the bad calls. I mean, you would think that with the replay process and the eye in the sky that they get it right every single time. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't work like that, man. It is what it is. As long as you have human beings making decisions, you're going to have bad decisions being made as part of the process, and we have to deal with it. And that's just what the game is. So, like I said, sometimes those bad calls are a good thing. Sometimes those bad calls are a horrible thing. It just depends on which side of the table you're sitting on that Sunday. And, I personally like the human element of it. I understand that human error is part of the game. And it's, I can understand how people say it's unacceptable, but it's part of the game. It is what it is, and if, so that's that. But yeah, I think the biggest pressure these guys are going to get will be from Vegas and those who are impacted by Vegas, because the amount of money is just going up and up and up. And clarity and being correct on the field is crucial to people making money.
Ben, your thoughts on this? 11 missed calls in that game.
Yeah, I've always said
touchdown, all of it. It was crazy.
I would say this about these refs. The thing about these refs is they just work with each other each week. They don't have a set group. It's always a different group. You're gonna have to I don't know if they have their union yet, or they need to be like NFL employees, or how it goes. Because these people have regular jobs, and then they refs. So you want better referees, you have to do the same thing to the players. Yeah, you got to punish them. You got to find them. You'll find a player. Find a player quick. I'm not saying you can find them at the same rate. Excuse me. I'm saying the Eagles are benefiting from what Kansas City benefited from. When Kansas City was in their heyday, which a couple of years ago, they got all the calls.
They still get
nothing went against them. And when they did get a call, the fans like, what is that? I think the thing about the tush push is so unique because everybody wants to do it. Everybody can't do it like the Eagles. The Bills used to do it more than y'all. They just ain't as good at it as y'all are. Well, what's happening is everybody's looking at this instant replay. You see him firing off. You know how much these cameras we looking at? These millisecond cameras. No, on the field it happens so fast, and they're gonna ban it because they don't want to make it seem as if one team is benefiting and the other 31 teams aren't. Which that's not the truth at all, but that's the perception of it. And when you start talking about the calls, they'll make a bad call to kind of even out. They make it look even. I mean, we got the call. We got to do some bad. We got to let some stuff go against the Eagles because it's gonna look like. You know what else they don't show you? You know who got fantasy leagues, right? Oh, refs can have fantasy leagues. They can have fantasy leagues. Do I think it's crazy that a ref get an autograph from a player after a game? No, I don't. Because the same way we want to see the players as human, these refs are human now. And we're watching it from this far back. So what are you doing? In real time, it's like, dude, what do I do? What do I say? Like, how do I go about this one? Because look, there's a holding call on every play. They just don't call it every single play.
Go
There's something going on No, man, it only matters when the team matters. You know that, right? No one cares about blown calls against the Browns and the Titans. Who cares? Who cares? They just don't. They just don't. But when it's a team that matters, like the Eagles, everybody's watching. Listen, everybody has become tush push, experts now. You see what they're doing? We don't really know what we're looking at until it happens. And I just think that the missed calls are gonna happen. I'm like you, Marvin. I love the human element. Now I don't like umps in baseball too much because they can't see. They can't see the strike. That's a But like usually a strike zone is if the catcher don't have to move his glove, like he got to move it. It just moved. Anyway, I just think that for what happened on Sunday, it's going to continue to happen. We go to the game to see our team ball and to yell at refs. That's what we do. Ref, we're gonna yell at him because in our mind the ref is cheating. You think it's bad now? Go to one of your kids' games. We are really awful then.
Yeah,
I get you on that, dude. My son got blocked in the back so bad yesterday. The play was basically going to be dead. It was turnover and downs. My son was like, "How don't call it?" He's like, "I called it, but the play was over. What was the point of calling it flag? It was fourth down." I'm gonna come out with like a picture company, and I'm just gonna get a picture of all guys with their arms straight out. Like, well, that's your favorite post. When you watching a game, that's what we do. What are you? That is what. So when you talk about we expect the refs at the highest level to be better than every other ref. That's not true. We expect that, but that's not true. And I think the thing is, it doesn't matter what the ref is. If it could be two different refs blowing the same call, you say, there they go again. You're gonna group them together. Dude, they're not that good. I don't know what they're doing. The plays in the NFL happen so fast. It's like they saying, dude, who you notice that ref here turned his mic. Who was it? Which number was it? Because he can't even. Which number? Okay, holding on number. So it happens, but that's kind of what makes football fun too, right? The human element of it, the unpredictability of it. The refs were so terrible Sunday, they were calling the Giants the Jets. That's all I'm going to say. On national television, they called the Giants the Jets. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to bury that horse. Listen, we're always going to yell at the refs. The Ed Hockley's of the world. We don't have 100 of them. He's one of a million. We're all going to have one referee in one sport that we would rather ref all the games. You just can't be able to do that. That being said, listen, I don't know if there's anything they're going to fix. I don't know if they're going to ban this play now, whatever. They need to get it right one way or another. We're halfway through the season, and I don't think they have called it right properly, thoroughly through 8 weeks of the season, regardless if it's for us or against us. So,
no. I'm going to tell you what you really don't want to happen. And I'm not throwing no conspiracies out there. You want Jalen Hurts to be an Eagle for life. But, everybody ain't always Eagle for life. Jalen Hurts, just say it's 10 years from now, he becomes a Jet or goodbye a Cowboy or a Giant.
Marvin don't want him up there. Hold
on. No. Let me tell you what Marvin is really saying. You only hate them when they don't play for you. It's like this. Someone goes, man, I can't stand that Jalen Hurts. Man, the Jets just signed him. You know what? You know what I like about him? It happens. Yeah. That's how the NFL is.
He's better than what we got right now. He's better than we got right now. He's better than we got right now.
I'm glad you brought that up because I want to throw something out there. Me and Marvin were going at it a little bit last night. I was going after Joe Namath a little bit. 220 interceptions is still in the Hall of Fame. He's got more interceptions than touchdowns. But Jalen's having a pretty good season so far. 15 passes, 5 rushing touchdowns, and only thrown one interception. Protect the ball. He is what you want in a quarterback. He doesn't have to have the 300 yards passing. He's thrown 7 touchdowns over the last 2 games. Again, I'm not gonna give him roses for throwing 4 touchdowns against the Giants, but doing what he did against Minnesota, I thought it was a pretty good game. But speaking of pretty good, man, Slim Reaper is doing his thing this season. He's having an all-pro type. He is 6th in yards with a quarter of the targets that anyone above him are doing. Listen, we talked prior to coming to the season when a couple of the guys we had on, me and Ben were talking, and we were talking about how Devontae don't get his roses enough. AJ Brown having a complete meltdown because he's not the focal point of the offense for whatever reason. I'm hearing trade rumor talks with AJ Brown. Meanwhile, these idiots are not realizing the Eagles aren't trading him unless they get a good enough package plus money. He has a $40 million cap hit if he's traded. We are not eating that in the middle of a potential championship run. They're not going to do that. But over the past 4 weeks, he literally has 35 targets and he still has over 430 yards receiving. That's impressive. I said it prior to this season. I thought that Devontae was going to have a better season than AJ Brown just because he's been the number one guy here in Philadelphia. He's been balling out the last few years. Obviously, we were run heavy last year, but Devontae just quietly and calmly takes what the defense gives him. I think he's one of these guys. He can run whatever route, whatever. He can do it in the slot. He can do it in the 2. He can do it in the 1. He is a rare commodity in the NFL. I am so glad the Giants dropped the ball on that, and he wound up coming here to Philadelphia. He is quietly having one of those all-pro seasons. I'll start off with Marvin on this one. What do you think, man? Slim Reaper just doesn't quite get the love he gets because he's the number 2 here in Philadelphia?
And it's weird because this guy's been an elite player his whole life. He's from 8 Meat, Louisiana. And as a young player, he was very good. Obviously, he goes to Alabama, wins the Heisman. That should tell you everything right there to have a receiver win a Heisman Trophy in a day and age where we give everything to the quarterback. And then from there, he's a top pick and goes to Philly. What he benefits from is Philly having so many weapons. Aside from being an elite player himself, it's hard for a defense to account for him and the tight end who has all those touchdown catches and the other receiver in Brown. And then you got to deal with Saquon. Then you got to deal with the active Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's pick your poison over there. And the reality for Philly is they're elite at the skill position all the way around on their offense, and he's a big part of that. So yeah, I mean he's getting the number 2 receiver in those situations, but he's successful because he's probably closer to a number 1 in real life. When you really look at it, this dude could probably hold it down. So not surprising to see his continued success. The discrepancy in regards to the targets says a lot. Just lets you know when he gets the ball, he's making it happen. This is a yards after catch guy, big play guy. That says big play, which is what he's been his whole career. So not really surprised at his success. When you look at the discrepancy in targets between him and Jamar, it's significant because Jamar is considered to be probably the best receiver in the game right now. But yeah, your boy Slim Reaper is out there getting it done, balling, and he's a big part of why Jalen Hurts is having the year he's having as well. And it goes both ways for those guys. They're fortunate to have each other. I don't. This Jalen Hurts guy, he's growing slowly on me. He's growing. Oh, he is. He's growing slowly on me, but he gets it done, and a big part of that is what he's able to do with your boy from 8 Meat, Louisiana, a.k.a. the Slim Reaper.
Ben?
Yeah, Devonta Smith is the type of football player you want to play with and not play against. He came up through the Alabama system, so he knows about waiting his time. He's not impatient at all, and he knows. Look, man, I play how I look. I'm not gonna be physical. Look at me. But you need me to run routes. Got it. You need me to block. Yep. You need me to be a force. Yep. I can go over the top. I can run intermediate. I can run short routes. I can take a slant, take it to the crib. I'm not physically imposing, but I won the Heisman in college, though.
He's a tough dude, man. He takes hits over the middle that should obliterate guys, and he finds ways to pick himself up and then continue to contribute. And I'm going to wait one more point before I give it back to you. Saquon's run, the 65-yarder to the house, Devontae Smith broke that out open with a big block. So
yeah, he's Devonta Smith is killing the myth of. I remember the talking point on him when he first got drafted was you ain't never had a guy that slender dominate. I said, well, keep watching him. Just keep watching this dude because does he benefit from Saquon? Yeah. Does he benefit from AJ? Yeah. But they benefit from him too because the guy that's gonna take it over the top is Devonta Smith. Y'all traded for John Mechie and you forget that he's an Eagle. You forget that John Mechie came over from Houston. You forget the Dotson came over from the Commanders. Because you got a guy that can run every route, and he's a great teammate. I've seen his sound bites, man. The way, the way he is, and it's a fashion show now. When you come into the stadium, it's a fashion show. These boys get dressed, they get suited and booted. But I'm happy for Devonta Smith because I think so much about the NFL is about the big name stars. You talk about Justin Jefferson, you talk about Jamar Chase, you talk about Monte Brown, and so on and so forth. He's also saying, hey, a number 2 receiver is just as beneficial as a number 1. He's just as beneficial for a guy like that. So, yeah, and I'm like, Marvin, Jalen Hurts, he's an acquired taste now. He ain't for everybody. Jalen Hurts probably one of those type of people that eat cake with no frosting on it. I don't need no frosting. You know what I'm saying? Like he's different. He's different. He orders it. Listen, I just want black coffee, no sugar, no cream in it. Just really, yeah. I don't need nothing in it. He's
listen, y'all ain't wrong there. I'm not gonna act like I was the biggest Jalen Hurts cheerleader when we drafted. I was mad as hell. We drafted a quarterback after we just signed Carson Wentz to this big contract. I'm not gonna act like I'm gonna be his biggest fan. No, but listen, he has a way of growing on you. He has a way of he does those little intangible things that makes you just be like, wow, this kid gets it. So I said it all through last season. I think a lot of those runs that Saquon broke off were audibles at the line. Jalen would see something, check off into a run. Next thing you know, Saquon's running up the yard for 65, 70 yards. So I think it's a perfect storm of as Marvin's saying, elite at the skill positions. You have an AJ Brown. That's why he's not. No matter how much he complaining, he's getting $40 million next year. I really don't think he's going to complain about not having his number, maybe not hitting his incentives. But he's one of the top 3 paid wide receivers in the NFL. He's got arguably the best number two in the league, if you ask me. He has a top 5 tight end. You have a top 3 running back. You have a top 10 quarterback. You have one of the best offensive lines in football. They have an opportunity to take advantage of those things. We'll see if it develops into another championship run this season or not. I think having a guy like Nick Sirianni there, who's a player's coach, is going to kind of temper the room down. Everyone was asking him about the AJ stuff. He's like, it was just another week. We missed him last week. Enjoy the week off. I'll see you guys next Monday. But I don't think anyone outside of the general whatever is going on cares that AJ Brown is not happy with the targets. Every number 1 receiver wants to have 10, 15 targets a game. They all do. I don't think he's the prima donna everyone's making him out to be, but I think they have a unique opportunity with having all of this abundance of weapons on offense. So
he'll be all right. I want my star receiver to want the ball. Like I want him to be frustrated. But once you played your card so many times that I know, okay, do you want the ball and is it a part of your personality? I got it. I know how to deal with it. But AJ, the most calming factor you got on the team is Jalen. Jalen, man, calm that down. I get it. I know. You're right. But what you rather have? Numbers and no wins? There's a bunch of players going to have that. Didn't Myles Garrett just have 5 sacks? Slamming his helmet on the side?
I'm glad you brought up that one. Did you see him at the end of that game? He's completely on the other side. He's nowhere near the rest of his teammates. Obviously he's upset. You signed up for that. We talked about this offseason, Ben. He went after the bag.
Yeah.
He's one of the top 2 paid edge rushers in the NFL, and they got so much dysfunction on the other side of the ball. They don't know. They still running their other guy out there, and now the rumor is they're going to start Shador the last 4 weeks of the season. It looks like what the plan is going to be there in Cleveland. I don't get that team, not one way, shape, or form. That doesn't make sense to me. The Cleveland Browns as a whole, as an organization, does not make sense to me. I have a feeling they're trying to run Kevin Stefanski out of there. I do not know what the plan is of that organization other than utter dysfunction. So
yeah,
I feel for Miles. I don't feel bad for him. The fact that he's getting these insane game checks, but at the same time, he knows what he signed up for, so stop it. I want to switch gears real quick. I know we still have one more football topic I wanted to get to, but we've been talking about gambling. We've been talking about the NBA. Me and Ben were upset about something last offseason. You know they're going to finally paint the floors this season and have the Larry O'Brien trophy on the floor, not some digital read-in that they've been doing the past few years for whatever reason.
The finals, they're gonna have it.
Yeah, they're gonna finally have that one.
That's so crazy, man. That the fact that that's even a thing, right? At this time last year in the finals, we got to digitally impose the finals, logo on it. Like, what are we doing? Like. So when we going through all the things we got to do on the checklist, that ain't the time list. Like, aren't we in the finals? That's
just from them trying to save a little bit of money for whatever reason. Otherwise, I don't get that. Marvin looks utterly confused right now.
Yeah, I don't get what I don't understand what they did.
All right, so for all of our lives, right? The NBA Finals, they paint the Larry O'Brien trophy on there, the NBA Finals onto the floor, right?
Right.
They haven't done it at all in the past. I think it's 5 seasons. They've been either it's not on the floor at all, or they digitally put it in through the broadcast.
Gotcha.
So it's not so you can see, so you can actually see it if you watch it on TV. It's not there.
It's like the first down line in football. You can see it on TV. Yeah.
They're being you finally made it to the Super Bowl, Marvin, right? And you don't have the Super Bowl patch on your jersey. And you say it's cool, right?
Any of the jerseys they were selling for the NBA Finals didn't have.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. It's like you saying, you walk in, you saying, "Hey man, where the patch at?" Oh, we ain't doing that this year. What you mean you ain't? You ain't doing that this year?
Again, but it doesn't matter if it's the NBA or NFL or college. People, it's not a sport. It's a business. You know what I'm saying? That's the bottom line. And the fans don't understand and they get emotional. It's a business. That's it. So if they can save money, listen. So what they're doing is they're protecting the TV product and giving the majority of the fans, the millions of fans, get to see the logo through digitally superimposed, on the floor. Okay, so I get that. That's just a sign of times changing. That's technology. The business side of it's evolving. It is what it is, man. Hey, this ain't 85 no more, y'all. We done moved on. No, I'm just saying it ain't like that. Y'all remember?
We're gonna do. I mean, the outcry must have been real loud this year because number one, the NBA the NBA ain't had a American-born MVP since like 2018 or something crazy. It ain't been. Yeah, it's been Giannis and like. Jokic last year was SG. I think the last American-born MVP in the NBA was like James Harden. That's the last time it was. So when you think about the NBA, they're like, look, I know we got this international thing going on, but we play in the States. Like this is where we play, right? I think it's the little things too. Like I think something like, look, man, we can paint it on. Think about that though. If you the guy to do the paint, you're like, hey man, what you doing? I'm getting the paint ready for the NBA finals. What you about to do? I'm about to paint the Larry O'Brien trophy. Well, they don't do that. What you mean? Not doing that. For real? Yeah. All right. And then he goes and says, "Hey man, is this true? We don't do that. They're gonna digitally impose it." Oh, because guess what? All these jerseys that have people's names on the back, they still got the same people with the sewing machine. They got the people in the back with the sewing machines put the names on it. They show it before the season. So certain stuff is still very intact. Other stuff, somebody of importance noticed it. Somebody that's giving money to the NBA said, "Hey man, we can't put the logo on. How much money does he get? He get like 250. Yeah. I don't know. Discrepancy. Blame it on a lower tier, intern and fire him. What's your name, son? What's your name? Tommy. You just got here. Tommy's out of here. That was Tommy's fault. He's gone.
You ain't wrong, Ben. But obviously, we're through the first week of the season, and the Sixers are 4-0. Now, for whatever reason, I'm hearing these rumors that they're going to be moving on from Joel Embiid. I think now, listen, I was obviously hard on how that whole situation has been dealt with over the past few years, right? I think it'd be a mistake to try to move on from him right now. You're already have his minutes slowed down. If you're going to he's already, I think he's only played like two of the 4 games that they've played already, but I think he's still one of those voices in that locker room that you're going to need. I still think if you do have him healthy come next March, he's a guy that always he doesn't disappear in those playoff games. His whole problem is being available for those playoff games. Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely one of these guys that I thought they should have blew it up after last season. Obviously, their number 1 pick this year is already showing that he's NBA ready. We're only through 4 games, but broke Allen Iverson's rookie record for debut. I think he scored like 34 points or something like that. So I think they're in a good spot. You're going to get last year's draft pick back in a few weeks. He tore the muscle on his thumb right before the preseason started, so he should be back in a few weeks. They have a nice young nucleus there. I don't unless you get something that is really going to help this team moving forward, draft picks, get yourself another veteran that could produce on the level that Joel Embiid is, or you assume that he's going to give you. I don't see why you move on from him just now, unless there's something that one of your other centers is playing at the level that Joel is doing. Is the only thing that would make sense to me to move on from him right now. Obviously I get the availability thing. What about you, Marvin? You think the Sixers should entertain this, or is this just as the normal nonsense that surrounds Joel Embiid?
I'll be honest with you. I'm really into leadership as a whole, period. And with him, I've always been turned off by his energy, disposition, and the way he addresses certain things in the media. It doesn't sound like confidence. It doesn't sound like leadership. Sometimes I feel like he's kind of checked out and indifferent, almost immature. You know what I mean? Now, does that matter when he's giving you MVP type effort and performance on the court? It should matter. Feelings should matter. My feelings should matter. And the reality is, when you have a kid like Maxey who's balling the way he is, and you have a big man, if you have a healthy big man like Embiid, you don't let that guy go. You keep him, because I tell you like this: I bet you that the Magic and the Lakers both regret letting Shaq go as early as they did. When you consider how successful he was later on. This kid's getting hurt a lot. With these big guys, they could be fragile. You don't know if this is going to be forever with him and every year thing. You don't know if he's going to get healthy and be able to come back. And, it's tough, man. But finding an athletic big man, a real big man, is the challenge in the NBA. Guards are everywhere, you feel like. You know what I'm saying? But finding a guy who's that big and can play at the level that he's played at, I mean, that's so rare that it's just, if you're going to give him away, it better be a Herschel Walker situation. It better be something that makes so much sense that, and it keeps you in a win now mode with Maxey playing as good as he's playing for y'all. So that's my thought.
I'm with you there. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, rumors is one thing. You don't trade away a guy like that. There aren't many guys like that. Period. And I get the availability part too, but when we in the era of load management now. Guys I'm just not playing tonight. Something happens. Joel Embiid, when he is at his best, he is the best. Lee, when he's at his best, what are you gonna do with something like that? And I know he's won an MVP. Philly is always gonna be very, very peculiar to me because you got Paul George, right? Like that's what no one talks about enough. Paul George, let me say this, and I mean this. Paul George is not Ben Simmons. Nobody is. Nobody on this planet Earth is Ben Simmons. But Paul George, he gets hurt a lot. I mean, a lot. The same way Marvin just said that the Lakers and the Heat or whatever, or the Magic gave up on Shaq too. Paul George was never supposed to leave Indiana. Never. People think, oh, I want to get the money. Paul George can help out way more. And I think a guy like Embiid, you have to be like, I mean, he's a big dude, right? That runs up and down the floor. You have to be like, hey, how the knees feeling? How you feeling tonight? And he's not getting any younger, but Philadelphia would absolutely lose it if Joel Embiid gets traded. They're going to be like, what? Are there players? You finna get Giannis? That's what you're saying? Now, if you're going to get Giannis, that's okay, that's different. No, we're not getting Giannis. We got this guy out of nope. Jokic, he's never leaving. Giannis, I can understand it. Outside of that, no.
I'm with you there, Ben. If it's somebody like Giannis, two protected first round draft pick, something like that is kind of the only type of offer I would ever entertain for that. Because he, as Marvin's, big men that are as athletic. How many big men, Joel half the times gets triple because he's rebounding the balls insanely. He dishes the ball insanely. He's one of the few big men that can shoot beyond the arch. That is a rare thing. He is a rare center that we really haven't seen. And if it wasn't for the injuries, I think he'd be talked in a different light. But the injuries are there. And It's been something that has followed him since before he was drafted in Philadelphia.
Steve, your greatest availability. Yep. You know what I mean? And when you eating up the salary cap the way he commands, and he's earned his money. I ain't messing with that. But when you look at their investment into him, what are they getting out of it? The MVP is great. But they want championships. And what's better for you? Keeping the guy who's going to, miss half the games or trading him to somebody who's going to give you the king's ransom, I don't know.
Like I said, Ben ain't wrong. If it's somebody like Giannis.
I mean, if Giannis is on the table, you be like, we're not trading him. What about Giannis? Whoa. Okay, well, wait a minute now. Because then you're getting production and availability and a rim protector, right? You know what you're getting in Giannis. No, he's been a 2-time MVP and won the finals. And I don't know how things are in Milwaukee. He's always shaky with Giannis each year. He's a very loyal guy. It's just it ain't many. I'm even halfway give you any type of love for when it comes to a guy like Embiid, but Giannis. Well, that changes things, because I think I'm getting talent for talent, and I'm getting game in, game out with Giannis. Embiid, like I said, Embiid have been there through the process. I got so sick of hearing that. God, dog. I don't know. Embiid is a very, very intriguing player, and big men are hard to come by. A lot of these dudes just tall. They can't shoot free throws. They can't shoot. They dunk and get putbacks. So Embiid is a rare player. You just hope that if I can get the future for him. Now, if I could get the future in the building, that's different too. But it ain't many players in the NBA going, helping you win championships. And like I said, if you can get a guy in the building to help you win a championship, that's one thing. But Paul George, hello, Paul, can you hear us? Right? Paul George teaming up with Embiid was like when Carmelo and your boy was up there in New York, man. And I'm like, I'm just saying, like, superstars have to gel. It's just, I don't know. I like Paul George, man. It's just, I like his podcast, a content creator like us. I like him. But somebody need to tell Paul George, we can see you You know what I'm saying? We can see you, but they don't listen to me. Even though I think they don't listen to me. But yeah, man, I just think that Joel Embiid, it's gonna be anybody other than a Giannis. It's gonna be hard to justify.
Yeah,
that GM can't stand there and say we got to get draft picks. Get him, Philadelphia. He got to live in this city. You better be careful. You get rid of Embiid. You have to live you have to live out in the burbs somewhere.
Now, obviously, the news over the last few weeks with the NBA outside of the season started has been this whole gambling fiasco. We're now hearing other teams are being involved. We're hearing that potential referees are being involved in this. Surprise about that. Now, obviously, I'm not going to completely dump on the NBA here. There's certain aspects to this thing I don't think that completely falls under them being investigated too. But seeing this now, seeing what we've seen, obviously, one is we're talking about players organizing poker games. We have another player who was kind of leaking information about prop betting on what he's doing as a player. Do we think that other leagues should kind of peak their ears up and send like some memorandum to coaching staffs, owners, and be like, listen, you need to make sure your guys are not being involved in the.
They've been doing that.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say, man.
They've been doing that.
They do that. They
before
they say is you get caught if you want to.
Yeah, that's
I told you.
100%. I mean, even before this most recent gambling thing. I mean, I was in the NFL 25 years ago. We have posters on the wall about gambling. We have people come talk to us about gambling. You know what it is. You know you ain't supposed to be doing that. And without question, there has been tremendous communication within organizations and from the league to these teams. They've been on this communication thing. Every time something pops up, I bet just communication. Because
I'm trying to tell you, they went out. They was like this. Cue them. Listen, they sent out a memo. Hey, all 32 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure at the team meeting date, I want you to talk about this because sometimes you got to protect the brand. We ain't saying they're not going to do it, but they're going to say, what did you guys do? Didn't we send out the memo? We had all 32 teams and we sent out emails. And look, I'm going to say this and I'm going to tell myself a little bit. It's fine. Every year in the NFL, if you're a current player, they give you 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. We talk about teams that don't make the Super Bowl. So I'm one of those teams. We ain't going. They let you get 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. But you have to show up. Ain't no will call. You got to show up in person to get them. And they tell you, hey, don't sell your tickets to anybody else. So you get to the site. Your ticket's like $500. You pay like $1,000. You got some tickets. Most of the time, your teammates say, hey, man, I'll get your tickets for like, $1,500 a piece. Like, oh man, that's the come up. But you don't realize they lowballing you. These are Super Bowl tickets, right? We done seen old coaches get Mike Tyson, the old coach of the Minnesota Vikings. The head coach got caught selling his, which let you know. They done told me all this stuff. I'm like, all right. This is when the Colts are playing. This is when Peyton Manning, first Super Bowl, Colts versus the freaking Chicago Bears in Miami. I get to the site, go in to get my tickets. Mind you, I'm there at the Super Bowl to work. Like I got a bunch of paid engagements. Marvin, Steven, I walk outside, and I said, I'm not selling my ticket. Dude go, what's up, man? I'm like, man, you don't know me. Yeah, do I know who you are? What's up? You got you some tickets? So, I'm already suspicious, man. What you mean, man? What you talking about, man? You got some tickets? Yeah, I might have a ticket. What you talking? Man, I'm trying to get them tickets up off you, man. I ain't selling my tickets, man. I said, listen, man, I got a teammate of mine, man. He giving me $3,500 ticket. Dude said, I give you 5,000 tickets. That reminds you, I said, wait, you finna give me 5,000? You give me 5,000 ticket? I said, so you know me, Marvin. I hit him with them. Ain't no Cash App then. Ain't no Venmo. We did with all cash. I am Randy Moss, straight cash, homie. I need my money. He said, I got 10,000 right here. I go like this. I pull the tickets out. Listen, before this dude could look down, gone. I'm talking about I've never ran that fast in my life. I got this money. Listen, I ain't counting, but I can tell like, dang, I can count them hundreds. I'm like, Now ran past my car. I have run past the car I come in. I get listen. I done ran to like a store somewhere. I'm in there like this. God dang, I'm thinking they got me. I'm finna be an NFL investigation. I look out. I look. I wait by 5. Ain't nobody there. Go back to my car. Let's get back to my hotel room. I got the money. I got this money in my bag like it's drug money. I'm like, God, they're gonna catch me. Listen to me. I had former teammates of mine at Florida. We all saw each other down there. Only a couple of us was in the league, so we like took care of like our homies coming down. They kept saying, "Troupe, why are you in such a good mood?" I said, "Nothing, man. I'm just happy to see y'all." They said, "What you all giggling for?" I'm just happy to see y'all. Listen, I'm out there with Marvin. I paid $1,000. I'm walking around with an extra 9 bands. I mean, I didn't spend it. I'm thinking, man, I'm so paranoid, man. I don't watch too many movies where I'm thinking the money gonna blow up, turn pink. I really am. Listen.
Ben, you know what that means? That means that you naturally a good-hearted person, bro.
Check this out.
That's what that means.
No, check this out. That's not the crazy part, Marvin. I'm gonna run into the teammate that I told. Yeah. Troupe, what's up, baby? Man, listen, man. Look, ran into some family. You know how I be, man. Ran into some family members, man. Lying like yeah. I'm down there. Listen, I'm not gonna name the player because I don't try to tell on players. But I'm down there with all these players around the league doing stuff. Sitting down next to him, we're doing this event. He said, man, you got tickets to the game? I said, nah, I ain't got no tickets, man. He said, oh, man, because I know a dude would have gave you about 7, 8 bands a ticket. I'm like, you lying. He said, yeah. And I'm sitting here like, hey, I could have came up with 16. Here I am saying, dude, you're not even supposed to be doing this. And I say that to say, if a player gets caught gambling, that team will distance themselves from that player like you've never. It happened to Calvin Ridley. Remember Calvin Ridley who played for the Titans?
Not just that. Remember what happened to Isaiah Rodgers a few years ago.
And guess what? Listen, Steven, let me tell you something. As your brand grows, you got to learn. You got to have a plan in place called damage control. You got to. I don't care if it's a family member. Marvin keeps saying it, dude. The best movie you ever seen is American Gangster. On there, when Denzel is saying, "Boy, if you wasn't my," it's business. I am y'all family members who work for this business, right? So what happens is, what do the NFL got? No other brand got. The NFL is about the shield, the NFL logo. That's what it's about. The NBA, it's about the players. MLB, it's about the teams. NHL, well, they on the Golf Channel. I don't know what the NHL is about. I don't really watch a lot of NHL. But I'm just saying,
more things I want to go over before we wrap this one up. We're down to the last 8 minutes or so, right? And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring it up this week because you know who's playing in Lincoln Financial Field this weekend, right?
Come on, say it.
It's Mr. Deshaun Jackson, Mr. Michael Vick, Norfolk State versus Delaware State. Gotta bring them up. Gotta show them some love. Obviously, Dion was showing them some love a few weeks ago. Because they're keeping that HBCU stuff going with some of these smaller programs, smaller schools. So I'm going to say it right now. Deshaun Jackson's going to win that game. Michael Vick just fired his entire defensive coaching staff. I think they're like 1-6 right now. So I think Deshaun's looking pretty good to get in the first win over his former quarterback. What are you feeling on that one, Marvin? How excited are you for this matchup?
I love it, man. My family, my dad and Deshaun's dad were very close friends in L.A. When Deshaun was a young boy. I knew Deshaun when he was in Pop Warner Elementary School, middle school. He came to some of my games at SC. I haven't seen Deshaun in probably 2 decades, man, but so happy for this young man and what he's doing. I think they're 5-2 right now, and he has his team competitive. He has his team competitive. And his impact on that community, on that team has been tremendous. And even with Mike, man, I'm happy to see Mike step into a leadership position. A guy who's been through it all, been to the top of the mountain, been down to the valley, but a man who understands accountability. This is a success story for football. This is a football success story. It's a human interest positive story. This is a good thing, man. And I'm happy to see it. I hope, I think these guys, Deshaun for sure, will probably have some other opportunities after this season. We'll see. I don't know. But it'd be great also in the fantasy world to see these two just stay at these schools, build them up, and have this annual classic played in Philly or whatever it may be. We'll see, man. But this is a great story, coming of age type of deal for two young men who have been there, done that, and are helping leading young men right now. I love it.
Ben, quick response to this.
I love it. I love it as well. I think, it's short and plain, short and simple. Former teammates just want to see each other win away from football. When my playing days are over, I just want to see you win. It does not. There is no lose. One team is going to win, one team is going to lose. Man, I get to play against my homie. And we're the head coaches in Lincoln Financial, and we both play. Man, stop it, man. Stop it. That would be like whoever Marvin's homie is, they get to play wherever SC play, and they call they high school coaches, they college coaches in Cali. Man, you're supposed to have the camera.
People, so
that's Deshaun gonna try to put 50 on Michael Fix.
As he should. I love you,
but I'm trying to do you on Saturday, bro. Just
the
know
homie
that.
got to get it. Yeah, the homie got to get it. That's all love.
Yeah.
And we're talking about feel-good stories. Obviously, it's been a rough season for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. It was just announced today that he just signed with the Chicago Bears. That adding some swagger to that defense. That AFC North is getting tougher and tougher by the week. Like, good God. Big shout out to CJ, reuniting with, I believe, one of his coaches from New Orleans down there in Chicago. But at least he found someone where he could continue to play, continue to be competitive. And, hopefully he'll get back to being the guy that he is. Your initial thoughts there, Marvin.
Yeah, listen, happy to see him get a job. Happy to see, the Texans, one of the top defenses right now. They're at a point in the season where they need to start winning some games, but I'm sure he'll fit in there, and that's it. Yeah, not much. We'll see what he does with it.
Ben, we've talked about CJ a lot this past year. What are your thoughts here, brother?
I would just listen. I got two words for you, Chauncey: double dipping. As a person who understands what that means, if you was on an opening day roster, with them Houston Texans, and they let you go, not only do you get paid for the Chicago Bears, they owe you your whole contract for this year for the Houston Texans. That's free game. That's some free game to you, youngin. You get the double dip. You get paid by both teams. You saying, wait a minute, Ben? If Houston go to the playoffs, you get a playoff check. They go to the Super Bowl, you get a Super Bowl check. That's not gonna happen. But I'm just telling you, you get the double dip. But hey, I'm just happy for him too, man. Sometimes I got to learn from my mistakes and try to apply these lessons, man. Everybody don't gel the same with your personality, man. Just go play football. Talk less, do more. You got a better shot at staying on the squad.
All right. Parting shots here, Marvin, before we get off here.
Saturday night, 7:30, NBC. Watch them USC Trojans go into Lincoln, Nebraska, and handle business. Watch Lincoln Riley get a great road win, and watch Jaden Maava take one more step toward the Heisman Trophy. You can catch me, Marvin, on the mic. That's my handle: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Marvin Powell III on Facebook. I'm with the South Florida Tribune Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Wednesday night. I'm at Locked On USC Mondays and Fridays, and I'm with USCJ once a week.
Ben, parting shot there, brother.
Man, you can find me at Ben Troupe 84 on all social media handles. Win the division on Monday nights. Obviously, South Florida Tribune on Tuesday nights. Wednesday, the Fan in the End. 84 Reasons. Got a bunch of shows coming up. Man, just enjoying myself, man. Listen, you come here for the nuance. You come here for the nonsense, but you stay here because it makes sense. You know how it goes.
Appreciate everyone tuning in. We're gonna have a lot of fun here on the South Florida Tribune. We are literally, I think we are 167K away from 1 million views on that YouTube channel. So guys, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, share some of them reels, share some of the live shows. We got a big giveaway planned. I still got some of Ben's signed books there. I got some of the signed cards over there. I got some Eagles merchandise that I'll also throw in there too. I got some combat sports stuff that I'm also going to throw in as well. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Make sure you're showing love to all our programs, not just here on the Fan in the End, but the rest of the programming throughout the week, regardless if it's me, Marvin, Ben, Scott, Candy, the rest of the shenanigans that we all pull here on the South Florida Tribune Media Network. Just show us some love. We're going to continue to put out the great stuff, and make sure you guys are staying tuned. We are less than 2 weeks away from the Ricky Waters interviews dropping, so appreciate everyone's time. We'll see you on the rebound, guys. Peace out.